The number of people Taro Sakamoto killed during his legendary career as the world's greatest assassin is countless. Now he runs a convenience store, weighs twice what he used to, and gets winded walking upstairs. But when someone threatens his family, that chubby store owner transforms back into the unstoppable killing machine that made grown assassins wet themselves in fear. Sakamoto Days perfects something most action mangas struggle with: balancing brutal, bone-crushing violence with comedy so absurd it'll make you laugh out loud. One moment you're watching a man get bisected by a katana. The next you're seeing that same legendary fighter defeated by a half-off sticker and pencil lead. The series wastes no time establishing what makes Sakamoto terrifying. When Boiled shows up at the amusement park with his partner Obiguro, he's carrying years of resentment and a ridiculous arsenal of explosives. Boiled trained alongside Sakamoto at the Japan Clear Creation Academy, desperately wanting recognition from his legendary classmate. But Sakamoto kept his distance, never forming that bond Boiled craved. Now Boiled's got super ball bombs and something called the Rocket Dynamite Punch. Yes, those names are as embarrassingly cringeworthy as they sound, and hearing them actually triggers Sakamoto's memory of who this guy is. The psychological warfare hits different when your opponent doesn't even remember you exist. Initially, Sakamoto dominates while still in his heavier, out-of-shape form. He punches Boiled into a wall with such force the ground shakes. But Boiled refuses to quit, unleashing a relentless barrage that gradually pushes even the legendary assassin backward. When that final rocket dynamite punch connects, shaking Sakamoto's entire body, something fundamental shifts. This is the moment that defines the entire series. Like Rock Lee removing his leg weights, Sakamoto announces he's done messing around. From the smoke emerges Slim Sakamoto, the prime version that earned his reputation. The transformation isn't just physical. It's the return of bloodlust so intense it sends chills down Boiled's spine. The clash between Sakamoto's true punch and Boiled's full-power rocket dynamite punch proves absolutely one-sided. Sakamoto doesn't just block the explosive attack. He completely destroys it, demonstrating a sharp spike in speed and power that makes Boiled's engineering irrelevant. When Boiled throws his remaining super ball bombs in desperation, Sakamoto catches them mid-air and uses their explosive force against Boiled himself. But here's what separates Sakamoto Days from typical power fantasy manga. After dominating Boiled, Sakamoto reveals his philosophy. Back in the day, I used my strength to hurt people. But now I've decided to use my strength to protect the people I love. That's the source of my strength now. This isn't just battle rhetoric, it's character development through combat, showing how emotional investment genuinely augments fighting ability. The fight climaxes with both combatants launched into a Ferris wheel carriage, where Boiled finally admits defeat with genuine respect. Yeah, Sakamoto really is the epitome of hard-boiled. This moment transforms their dynamic from bitter rivalry back to acknowledgement of fundamental superiority. But if the Boiled fight established Sakamoto's emotional core, the next major encounter showed his tactical genius against an opponent who believed technology made him obsolete. The lab arc introduces us to Kashima, a cyborg assassin who represents everything wrong with modern assassination philosophy. This deer-masked maniac voluntarily transforms 70% of his body into weapons: machine guns, lasers, detachable limbs with embedded blades. He believes technology should usher in a new era of assassins, making flesh-and-blood killers obsolete. Sakamoto's response perfectly encapsulates his combat philosophy. An assassin that has dependence on weapons is a sign of a third-rate assassin. What follows is a masterclass in creative humiliation disguised as comedy. Sakamoto's weapons include a half-off sticker, an advertisement with coupon, and a Sugar-chan mechanical pencil. The opening exchange sets the tone perfectly. Sakamoto flicks pencil lead directly into Kashima's eye, applies the half-off sticker to his other eye for complete blindness, then strikes from behind with a belt. This sequence accomplishes multiple things simultaneously. It's genuinely hilarious, establishes Sakamoto's adaptability, and proves that sophisticated cybernetic enhancements mean nothing against someone who can weaponize garbage. The underground subway battle showcases environmental destruction as Kashima's weapons create massive damage, while Sakamoto remains completely unfazed. Each exchange reveals why Sakamoto earned his reputation. His reflexes, strength, and tactical awareness operate on a fundamentally different level than even enhanced opponents. The iconic train chase culminates in one of manga's greatest behind-you moments. Despite Kashima's panic and desperate weapon deployment, Sakamoto reveals he'd been standing directly behind him the entire time, completely invisible to his opponent. This visual perfectly captures the fight's message. There was never any contest once Sakamoto decided to get serious. The airsoft tournament against Heisuke provides a non-lethal showcase of the gap between master assassins and talented newcomers. Heisuke's legendary marksmanship eliminates several targets instantly, but Sakamoto and Shin's superior tactical awareness proves decisive. Environmental awareness and teamwork demonstrate that even elite specialists have limits against all-around masters like Sakamoto. As the series progresses, we meet characters who make Boiled and Kashima look like amateur hour. The Death Row Prisoner arc introduces us to Saw, a serial killer obsessed with giving people interesting deaths. When he targets Sakamoto's convenience store, Shin and Lu step up to handle the threat and immediately realize they're in over their heads. Saw wields a rope-attached axe that decimates the supermarket environment, turning grocery aisles into a death maze. But here's where things get psychologically brutal. Shin's clairvoyance, his signature ability to read opponents' minds, completely fails against Saw's overwhelming bloodlust. The killer's evil aura is so intense, it clouds Shin's mental perception, leaving him defenseless against someone who treats murder like performance art. This forces Shin into a breakthrough moment. Under extreme pressure, he evolves his clairvoyance beyond simple mind reading to perceive motor functions, the subtle muscle preparations that occur before someone executes a movement. It's like upgrading from reading someone's thoughts to predicting their physical actions before they happen. But overextending this new ability exhausts Shin to the point of collapse. That's when Lu steps in. And here's where Sakamoto Days pulls one of its best character reveals. Lu gets extremely drunk and taps into her dormant triad martial arts mastery. Drunk Lu moves faster than Shin's future sight can track, overwhelming Saw with techniques so fluid and precise they force him into submission. The comedy of a drunk convenience store employee demolishing a serial killer while Shin watches in amazement perfectly captures the series' tonal balance. The encounter with a part showcases how Sakamoto handles opponents even when stuck in his heavier form. A part manipulates wires with devastating precision, creating defense systems that slice through concrete and metal. Environmental destruction becomes tactical advantage as Sakamoto adapts to a part's unpredictable attacks, using debris from destroyed structures to break apart's wire network. What makes this fight memorable isn't just the over-the-top action. It's Sakamoto's moral philosophy in practice. When he finally overpowers a part, instead of delivering a killing blow, Sakamoto catches him mid-fall and offers redemption. This moment reflects his core belief that it's never too late to turn your life around, even for someone who just tried to kill him with razor wire. The JCC test arc delivers one of the series' most challenging encounters, when Shin's team faces Shinaya, a cyborg with physical abilities rivaling Sakamoto himself. Unknown to the participants, Gaku remotely controls Shinaya via virtual reality, turning the examination into a puppet master scenario, where superior physical capabilities get leveraged through perfect coordination. Shin and his allies struggle desperately as Shinaya overpowers them, pushing their limits while they fight what appears to be Sakamoto-level opposition. This serves as a defining moment in Shin's evolution as a fighter, forcing him to coordinate teamwork under overwhelming odds. The revelation that they're fighting a remotely controlled opponent adds another layer to the series' exploration of how technology intersects with traditional assassination skills. Nagumo's encounter with Minimalist demonstrates the vast power difference between Order members and regular threats. Minimalist approaches seeking Sakamoto's bounty, only to face Nagumo disguised as Sakamoto's wife. What follows is pure assassination efficiency. Nagumo effortlessly handles Minimalist's strength using disguises, tactical wit, and his Swiss Army knife-like multi-tool with randomized weapon selection. The peak moment comes when Nagumo disguises himself as Minimalist's own reflection in a freezer door, showcasing supernatural disguise abilities that border on reality manipulation. With 0 casualties on Nagumo's side and Minimalist thoroughly outmatched, this encounter establishes why Order members reign supreme over conventional threats. These mid-series fights establish crucial power hierarchies while maintaining the perfect balance between brutal efficiency and absurd creativity that defines Sakamoto Days' unique appeal. The emotional core of Sakamoto Days reaches its peak with Yotsumura versus Shishiba, arguably the most devastating fight in the entire series. This isn't just master assassins throwing hands. It's a mentor forced to battle his protege in a deathmatch that neither of them wants. Yotsumura and Shishiba work together in the Order, developing the kind of bond that only forms between warriors who've survived impossible missions side by side. But when Yotsumura killed the Order chief, a bounty was placed on his head, and Shishiba finds him first. The setup is emotionally brutal. Shishiba admires Yotsumura and understands he's being wrongfully accused, yet feels powerless as a cog in the larger machine. The choreography is absolutely exceptional, maximizing environmental interactions for cinematic quality. These aren't just two people fighting. They're destroying entire city blocks while wrestling with the moral complexities of their situation. Every punch carries the weight of their shared history. Every dodge reflects years of training together. What makes this encounter transcend typical action sequences is the emotional storytelling through combat. Shishiba realizes during the fight that assassination isn't the black-and-white world he thought it was. The Order's politics, the bounty system, the way good people get branded as traitors, it all crystallizes as he's forced to fight someone he respects against his own moral judgment. The conclusion leaves both characters fundamentally changed. This battle shapes Shishiba's character arc going forward, teaching him that being a master assassin means navigating impossible moral choices where there are no clean answers. It's environmental storytelling at its finest, using brutal action to explore themes of loyalty, justice, and institutional corruption. Nagumo's encounter with Minimalist showcased Order member efficiency, but his death battle against Gaku represents something entirely different. Two of the series' strongest characters meeting on nearly equal footing. Both possess exceptional speed, strength, and tactical intelligence, forcing them to rely on determination and arsenal mastery rather than overwhelming superiority. Gaku demonstrates his multi-tool weapon system with various functions, adapting his approach based on tactical requirements. Nagumo counters with his speed and adaptability, showcasing why he earned his Order position through pure combat excellence, rather than specialized equipment. Both characters are exceptionally charismatic, making their confrontation one of the most entertaining battles in the manga. The fight features excellent choreography and witty exchanges that maintain Sakamoto Days' signature balance between brutal efficiency and personality-driven humor. But the real genius comes in the execution of Nagumo's fake death twist, a moment that keeps both characters and readers on edge, while demonstrating the psychological warfare that separates elite assassins from mere killers. Sakamoto's encounter with Kanaguri during the museum arc reveals how even retired legends can face genuinely challenging opponents. Kanaguri, the filmmaking enthusiast, possesses surprising combat capabilities despite his overconfident personality. His camera-dependent power fluctuations create unique tactical dynamics. When filming, he operates at peak efficiency, but equipment damage sends him into depression and measurable weakness. The library battle showcases incredible environmental choreography as both fighters clash among towering bookshelves, throwing hands between books while dodging each other's strikes. Sakamoto demonstrates superior grappling by dragging Kanaguri through multiple shelves. But the tide shifts when Kanaguri salvages a smartphone for its camera function, revitalizing his fighting spirit. The theater confrontation escalates with reflected laser combat and shadow imagery that creates some of the manga's most visually stunning panels. Kanaguri's high-density laser proves substantially more powerful than improvised weapons, literally melting through Sakamoto's pen and scoring the stage floor. But Sakamoto adapts with an Aikido technique borrowed from earlier encounters, throwing kanaguri onto a chair before pursuing with a metal pipe. The climactic shadow moment perfectly encapsulates their conflict. Two combatants moving so fast their individual actions blur into silhouettes on the theater stage. Kanaguri realizes that despite his camera equipment, he cannot adequately capture Sakamoto's true speed and technique. The legendary assassin operates on a tier that transcends documentation, creating artistic frustration that will haunt Kanaguri going forward. Old Man Takamura's entrance reshapes everything we thought we knew about power scaling in Sakamoto Days. When he faces Nagumo, skinny Sakamoto, Gaku, and Haruma simultaneously, wielding nothing but a katana, the result is pure terror. His blade slices through bulletproof materials and industrial structures with motion so fast they're barely perceptible. The coldest moment in the entire series comes when Takamura cleanly bisects Haruma, establishing lethal intent that triggers visible fear in all nearby combatants. This isn't someone playing around or testing opponents. This is a master swordsman operating with the kind of efficiency that makes other order members consider mission abort. Gaku's suggestion to retreat speaks volumes about Takamura's reputation and capabilities. Every aspect of this encounter, art, choreography, storytelling, establishes why Takamura commands such respect and fear within the order. His appearance marks the first time he speaks throughout the series, and that voice carries the weight of someone who's survived decades at the apex of the assassination world. But even Takamura's terrifying display pales compared to Sakamoto's encounter with Slur, the world's greatest hitman and the series' main antagonist. This catastrophic battle demonstrates what happens when our protagonist faces someone operating on an entirely different level. Slur ambushes Sakamoto mid-conversation, stabbing him in the torso before he can react. The speed advantage is so overwhelming that Sakamoto can't follow Slur's movements, getting systematically wounded despite his legendary reflexes. Shin's attempts to intervene prove useless due to the power gap, forcing Sakamoto to keep his allies out of the fight entirely. The psychological warfare proves just as brutal as the physical damage. Slur criticizes Sakamoto's no-killing rule, claiming it makes those around him vulnerable. This forces Sakamoto to embrace his killing intent, welcoming back the world's greatest hitman. But he hesitates when his family flashes before his eyes. Before Sakamoto can deliver what might have been a killing blow, Gaku and Takamura intervene. The encounter ends with Slur whispering something mysterious to Sakamoto before disappearing, leaving him speechless and raising existential questions about pacifism in a lethal world. This fight establishes the protagonist's complete outclassing by the antagonist, while setting up the series' ultimate philosophical conflict. Can someone maintain their humanity while operating in a world that demands absolute ruthlessness for survival? Sakamoto Days proves that the best action manga doesn't choose between comedy and brutality. It weaponizes both. Every fight reveals character growth through environmental destruction, philosophical conflicts through bone-crushing violence, and world-building depth through absurd creativity. From half-off stickers defeating cyborgs to katana masters bisecting opponents, the series maintains perfect tonal balance that makes you laugh and gasp simultaneously. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.